main stage. For those of you tuning in remotely, it's great to have you with us. And for those of you IRL here at the event today, please come in, join us, because this part of the day's sessions is not to be missed. All right, so I'm Leah Callum-Butler. I'm a CoinDesk opinion columnist, and I'm here today to help guide you through this very packed program. We've got an incredible lineup of speakers bringing all of their insights on everything from the future of decentralized storage and data privacy, the evolution of AI, and how all this is set to reimagine industries even beyond finance. So whether you're deep into blockchain or you're just curious, you just want to see what's next, you're in the right place, so stick around. Our first talk today, to kick us off, is from Clara Sau at the Filecoin Foundation. She's going to give us a full spectrum update on the Filecoin ecosystem. In the realms of DePIN and AI, storage isn't the end game. It's actually just the beginning. From L2s to cross-chain tools and AI-ready DePIN applications, this session will give us an overview of what's driving network-wide innovation. I just want to flag that this is a really, really important talk because it's actually going to frame a lot of the content that we have for the remainder of the day and really help you understand why Filecoin is so important for AI. So please let me underscore it. This is a very, very important talk not to be missed. And with that, I would love to hand it over to Clara.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to FIL Bangkok. We're so excited to be here for the first time and really connect with our entire Filecoin ecosystem. And big thanks to everyone that made today happen, including our Filecoin Orbit community ambassadors who are here working the event. So today I want to kick off our special session with CoinDesk Live, really around the importance of DePIN meets AI and the role of Filecoin in all of this. And so with that, I wanted to start with the excitement of why we're here today. I'm Clara Sau from the Filecoin Foundation, and I wanted to start with this phrase you see behind me of why the internet is so fragile. Today, most people have no understanding of how the internet was built, and a lot of the pieces of the internet today are dominated by existing large monopolies. In fact, there's a phenomenon that Jonathan Zittrain from the Harvard Berkman Center calls link rot, where majority of the links on the web, close to 67% of all links are broken at some point in time. And what most people don't realize is most of the data owned by the web that you use on your phone today are owned by 3 major companies: Google, Amazon, or Microsoft. And at Filecoin, we believe that data should actually belong in the hands of users, not centralized monopoly. This is incredibly important because the amount of data that we consume every single year has increased at an exponential rate in the past decade. In fact, we're looking at over 400 terabytes of data created every day. And this is an 861% increase since the way we use data more than a decade ago. And so as we see this growth in data, the importance of owning your data becomes more important than ever. So if you look here, sorry, my slide is not going back. You can see some of the data sets stored on Filecoin today. We actually store all kinds of data, from large archival data sets to medical data with the Victor Chain Institute, to data sets from major academic universities, like University of Utah, MIT, Stanford. We even store tons of Web3 data, from NFTs to chain archival backups on Solana. And today, we're also facing a huge growth in a number of companies launching just this year across the Filecoin network. To date, we have over 200 different projects all building on Filecoin, focusing on so many areas, from storage to AI to DePIN. And you'll actually hear from many of these companies this very afternoon. Just to dive into some examples, we have companies like Aave really looking at the right on-ramps to really bring Web 2 users from AWS and other platforms onto a decentralized storage network. We have DePIN companies that are really looking at making sure that when you think about storage on decentralized physical infrastructure, we can back that up to a decentralized network. We also have tons of companies really thinking about on-ramps into the enterprise. So this includes groups like the Decentralized Storage Alliance, Decent, SEAL. There are so many others that really are trying to solve this large data enterprise problem. And as many of you guys know, the biggest growth in data today actually comes from large enterprises. So this is an important problem more than ever. These are just a snapshot of some of the L2s that are launching on the Filecoin network. You'll hear from many of these teams actually today. We have Aave, Basin, and Sriracha really thinking about hot storage on Filecoin, and also Fluence, which is really focused on decentralized compute. This is just the very beginning of all the amazing L2s that we'll be launching this quarter on the Filecoin network, and I encourage you guys to stay around later today to hear more about them. I wanted to bring the conversation back to why AI is so important. For many of you, you might have heard about AI in the news, you might have thought about building an AI startup, but the reality is today's AI is actively centralizing. In 2014, if you remember, Google acquired DeepMind, and so today, even innovating on AI is largely controlled by big tech. Anthropic, which actually came from a bunch of engineers that felt like OpenAI was influenced too much by Microsoft, right now has a majority of investment from Amazon, Salesforce, and Google. And so, and then recently OpenAI just announced a $6.6 billion valuation, the largest venture capital raise in history at $157 billion. And this, as you guys know, has a huge majority share from Microsoft. And at Filecoin, we believe that, you know, as we think about 90% of the world's data that will be generated by AI, some estimate by 2026, we want to make sure that the ownership level of data comes back to everyday users. So how does this work for a network like Filecoin? Well, Filecoin is the world's largest decentralized storage network. We have over 6.1 exabytes of available data. And we also have a network of over 2,000 storage providers all around the world, many of them who are here in Southeast Asia, that are really thinking about ways to innovate with data and making sure that we can create decentralized data centers that can have resilience and redundancy for data. And there's a lot of opportunities for a more equitable and reliable solution for data that offers scale, resilience, and also proof of storage. And here are just a couple of examples of announcements we've made this past year alone. We've had over 7 to 8 different major integrations with companies today that are not only thinking about decentralized physical infrastructure, but also AI. So companies like Aether that are thinking about decentralized GPUs, we announced working with them to really think about ways to solve the GPU shortage that we're all feeling, also with the data layer. We also have companies like Nuke AI that we're teaming up to really decentralize AI models, the Bagel Network really looking at metadata, and also looking at Theoric for AI smart agents. So instead of looking at just storing archival data, now we can really make use of it, and also making sure those kinds of data are queried and stored in a way that doesn't necessarily go back to big tech. This is a really important issue that should be on top of everyone's minds. Just earlier this month, the US had its presidential election. And in fact, this very year, 49% of the world voted in some way. This is the largest year where countries had to put in a vote. And the biggest threat to democracy is actually information integrity on the web, where majority of people we're dealing with online disinformation, not necessarily trusting where to go out to vote. And one of the things that we are especially proud of here at Filecoin is the way decentralized storage can really help improve the way people think about content integrity on the web today. We have companies like Numbers Protocol, which you'll hear about later today, that have been working to look at restoring trust in Taiwan and Indonesia, really using their technology to allow for journalists and everyday citizen activists to be able to document and show election results. We have a number of companies like Reuters in the US that worked with Starling Lab out of Stanford to really making sure that presidential transitions were smooth. They worked on this in the 2020 presidential election with Reuters to document a smooth transition process. And we also have a lot of different groups across Kenya that are looking at making sure that election reports that are citizen-generated can be stored in a secure way. Today, we're facing a new challenge in elections where you can imagine a lot of AI-generated content coming with that. And we allow to make sure that we can verify that documents are not altered by AI or misguided by bad actors that might include foreign influence operations overseas. So this is a huge area that we care deeply about. And so I wanted to conclude by saying decentralizing web can restore trust to this AI-driven world. There are so many challenges today when it comes to the world. And a lot of people, when they think about crypto or when they think about blockchain, they think about the crypto casino or meme coins. And here at the Filecoin ecosystem and in the Filecoin network, we are very driven on really solving this data-driven challenge that comes back to data integrity, making sure that people can have ownership of their data and also prove how it's changed over time. So I wanted to thank everyone, and I encourage all of you guys to stay around for some exciting talks from different companies building on the Filecoin network this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. That was such an amazing way to kick off this day. And I've got to say, I've actually personally been following Filecoin since the beginning, so it is amazing to see how far the ecosystem has come, and I'm very excited to see what we're going to unpack today. Next up, we have Roman Nebo from Ghost Drive, and Roman's team is all about making decentralized networks accessible to the masses. So today, he's going to break down what it really takes to onboard 1 million users to DePIN. Over to you, Roman.
Hello, guys. My name is Roman, and I'm a co-founder of a project called Ghost Drive. And I want to try to be short and start. This project was started a couple years ago, and with the Filecoin support for the last 2 years, especially from Paul Wagner, the solution architect, they've been helping us to improve our version and technology, what we're building. So basically, it's like L2, a layer for to managing a data layer. And once we've been building this storing solutions, so we realized, so this is not about only the data to be stored, but it's about how your data being transformed. So how your data can also be labeled automatically, how your data can be categorized. Because normally all the data what we have, it doesn't being analyzed at all. So we have a bunch of information which we don't know how to use it. But each piece of byte, it's pretty much a digital gold. And to make this digital gold to the reality, so your data need to have like intellectual matter. And once we started this campaign about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, was a ton support, and we got millions of users, and we try to shape our project into more community-focused driven and make these users happy in the same time. So our app, the uniqueness about the Ghost Drive application, it's doing the computing on the client. So we're using your phone as a node in our infrastructure, and all information, whatever you're uploading to this. So we trying to fully organize, we encrypting that data automatically on the fly, and in the same time, we are making this data more smarter. So what I mean, by smarter, it's how you can make your raw data into something intellectual. It's like have your own data-driven insight or decision, or your business growth can be dependent from the data what you currently maybe have a couple of years ago. So, and the idea of this, we are trying to make from your data a personality. So pretty much you're building your own personal assistant automatically, and it's fully owned by you and it's fully controlled by you. So all the piece of information or whatever you're uploading or creating, it's automatically going through the indexing projects, through the labeling projects. And this has not become the file anymore. It's become more like your intellectual asset place. And these assets can be used for any different type of purposes. So these assets can be as a part of the AI data sets, or it can have a biometrical data sets. It doesn't matter. So the whole point is, in our vision, it's how we can have AI support, and we test on the Ghost Drive community. So we fully run AI-based moderator, our mascot, and we don't have any more people on our community support. It's fully run by our AI, which being collectively trained by the people from the Telegram chat. And this AI can fully analyze emotions of the community. It's communicating the way to us, like doing like daily reports, saying what people love and what people want to see, or what kind of issues we can have, or what kind of solution we need to bring to the community. So we been experimenting this for the last 6 months, and probably one of the first in a community space. And what we discovered that with AI angle, when you're building a project or you go into the market, it's very good to utilize some AI tools on the beginning, and especially you can integrate your AI to the different communities when you're running, or your AI can analyze the comments, what people writing. So we built this personality called Jedi, and you can test it on our Telegram space as well, and it's helping us tremendously how we can help other people to understanding and analyzing all that information from our community AI. And couple of also things what we been working, it's a privacy. So privacy for us, it's a heart of our product, and we've been focusing mostly on the client-side encryption, also client-side conversion and optimization, peer-to-peer key exchange protocol, tamper-proof IPFS trustless gateway for the content integrity, geo-based data control. So we have ability inside of our app, you can pin your information to particular location or even objects. Also, we being having a lot of success to build like a first encrypted media player, which can directly play in the browser without exposing your key. So, and this is our QR code. You guys can check our Telegram app. You can directly chat with our community AI. Inside, you can upload your data. You can see how our AI process information in real time. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you, Roman, for taking us through Ghost Drive. That was fantastic. Welcome back, everybody. You are watching CoinDesk's live stream of FIL Bangkok from the main stage. And up next, we're exploring the human element in the future of decentralized infrastructure with Titan Network's Konstantin Tkaczyk. With billions of devices sitting idle most of the day, Titan is tapping into this massive potential to build a people-powered DePIN cloud. Through their data availability layer on Filecoin, they're creating a decentralized cloud that's scalable, accessible, and truly democratic, designed to onboard people at a global scale. Please join me in welcoming Konstantin to the stage.
Hello everyone. What a marvel audience we have. So today I'll be talking with you about the role of people in our DePIN future. And first of all, whenever we're talking about DePIN, let's do a quick temperature check in this room. I have on a slide the number of devices per person that is brought by Cisco Global Analytics. But how many devices do we have at our homes? Let's raise our hand, those people who have at least 2 devices at their home that they can be connected to. It includes mobile phones, it includes computers, anything you can connect online. Okay, who can have 4? What about 6? What about 8? Okay, 12. I don't have 12. Wow. Well, congratulations. We're a little bit of an outlier. So the statistics tells us that around the globe, we have at least 3.7 devices per person per home in 2023. And there are outliers in different countries around the globe, but the reality is so. And with this amount of devices that we have that's surrounding us on a day-to-day basis, we have 4 devices per person. At maximum, we can use our devices maybe 12 hours a day. If you sit on it on a daily basis, you watch on your computer, then on a phone, then on a screen, then on something else, well, maximum we can pull out maybe 12 hours. Maybe there are some even better people here for managing all the digital things. But with all of that, and with 12 hours of daily usage, we only can really use 1 device at a time. So the reality is, when we combine those things together, we see that utilization rate of each device that we have at our disposal is only 12.5%. So 87.5% of the time that we have our own devices, they're actually sitting idle. There are billions of devices that sit idle across the globe for at least 21 hours a day, every single day. Imagine how big of a potential such a network by itself is if we incentivize and enable people to benefit from the resources that they already have and connect those idle devices to the infrastructure to do something great. Here we are, a Titan network, leveraging idle devices for the decentralized future. So we are an own DePIN project that builds a layer 1 on Cosmos SDK that allows people around the globe to contribute their idle resources to the network, such as storage, bandwidth, and compute. And whenever they contribute those resources, we then aggregate those together, and we provide cloud services on top of this infrastructure. We provide cloud services on top of people-powered network. And Titan Network, due to its unique design and unique functionality, ensures that for you, as an owner of a device, it's very, very easy to contribute the resources. Right now, you can install applications on anything from Raspberry Pi to 5 or 6 year old mobile phone. You can install it on the phone with just literally 2 clicks and contribute the resources that otherwise sitting without utilization. After you contribute those, we are also ensuring that it's simple to build on. You can rent the resources from the Titan network in the form of traditional cloud infrastructure, similar to a containerized solution that Amazon or AWS is offering. And you can rent those out resources and build on top of those on the fly already today. Once we aggregate those resources and once you rent those out, we're also ensuring that due to our architecture, it's very seamless to scale. So you can rent as many resources as you need, and you can build on top of decentralized infrastructure already today. And the use cases that we at Titan Network are already envisioning building. First of all, Titan provides a data availability layer. Today, we have more than 314,000 registered nodes in more than 100 countries. Those nodes all across the globe are ready to provide CDN, storage, and general cloud workloads out of the box, and you and your company and your solutions can deploy on Titan Network and be ready to build already today. Secondly, we also provide an infrastructure that creates a one-stop shop for DePIN infrastructure. While we at Titan position ourselves as a generalized resource network, where we provide both storage, bandwidth, and compute within one ecosystem, we also collaborate with largest projects in the DePIN space right now who provide specialized resource layer. One of the great examples of a specialized resource layer is Filecoin storage. So we collaborate with Filecoin storage solutions, and people can, while being in the Titan network, can bundle and save up solutions directly to Titan and to Filecoin as well, having a seamless integration and helping each other out on providing the resources that are needed for the customers. We also collaborate with different projects and apps and compute, providing and ensuring that customers have all the range of facilities in one box. Moreover, we strongly believe that it's time for DePIN to reach people where they are. If you're not building a solution that reaches people on a day-to-day basis, you are missing out on a huge, huge potential. And since we're talking about people-powered network, we are also building in the applications that exist on our day-to-day life. So Titan Network is already available on different Telegram apps. Ghost Drive, that was just presenting before me here, we are also collaborating with them. We are ensuring that they have a seamless integration and have an ability to connect to DePIN infrastructure powered by people and for people. Another use case that we are recently releasing and we're having today is a translation app. So if you are building and deploying translator apps directly where the people are, you can reduce the latency, increase the efficiency of translation in a direct one-to-one face conversation. And that's what we're building at Titan Network. So in our strong belief, on one side, we need to empower people and we ensure that all the resources that they have already on a day-to-day basis should be utilized to 100% potential. At the same time, since we're utilizing the resources that have been already produced, that have been already purchased, we are protecting the planet. We don't require you to buy a new device or buy new hardware to be part of the network. You can be part of the network directly today with devices you already own. With all of that, I invite you to become part of the decentralized future. Join our amazing partners and investors and be part of the Titan Network ecosystem today. Thank you a lot for being such a welcoming audience, and that was a pleasure. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Konstantin. I felt like that presentation really spoke to me. I am definitely one of those people who is guilty with like 10 plus idle devices at home, so I'm very glad to know all about Titan Network. Thank you so much. All right, next, we have Sherry Chung from Numbers Protocol to talk to us. One moment. So she's going to walk us through how decentralized tools are being deployed to establish transparency and protect democratic integrity against AI-driven misinformation. And I got to say that in an historic year of global elections, misinformation is really more than just a risk, it's practically inevitable. So this is super critical work for the times that we live in. Over to you, Sherry. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherry from Numbers Protocol. So today I'm going to introduce how numbers can help in 2024, the election, the year of election, through our product, Capture. Capture is a tool for the digital media verifying tool. In this year, 2024, there are more than half of the population in the world are doing the voting. So, and with the event, there are a lot of misinformation, AI-generated information on the internet. So people may start wondering, what if the image, the media, the news I see, is it real or not? So the AI misinformation might not be a problem only, but this can be alter the election result. From the previous BBC survey, 96% of users think that if they can see the provenance information, that will be helpful. And 83% of people are thinking that if the media can show the transparency, they would like to trust the media more. So that proves that the transparency is the key to rebuild trust to the audience. Here, to solve these problems, so we bring Capture. Capture is a tool for the verifying content, but it's not only a tool. It's a safeguard to trust. Capture can make sure that each content, each essay are transparent, has a verifiable historical record, and can be verified on-chain. In this year, we have put Capture into the real-world election, including the Taiwan, Indonesia, and India. These three regions' elections are this region are a high-stake region that the trust to the news media may alter the election result very big. We also participate in collaboration with Reuters in the US presidential election result in 2020. Make sure every photos taken from the election-related event are trustworthy and traceable. So here is a brief description about how we collaborate with the photojournalists in the 2024 Taiwan presidential election earlier this year. We built a platform using the Capture as our tool. So the photojournalists and all the participants can take pictures and register their pictures on Numbers blockchain. And with the website, you can see we also introduced the Capture Eye. It's an eye widget that can show the creator information, the provenance, and the origin of the photos. So for the viewer, they can easily verify the origin of this photo, so he can know that the image he sees is true and it's locally sourced. In this platform, there is a real-time photo updated through the photojournalist. So everyone can take the photo related to the election campaign. Not only the professional photojournalist, but also the civic participant is involved. So every important moment related to the election campaigns, the voting count, and also the winner reveal event can also be captured. This is the first decentralized news media platform that built for only the authentic photo are displayed on that. So either the photojournalist, the news media, or the user who interested in this topic, he can always find the verified and trustworthy photo on this platform. And he can, if he would like to use this platform in his material, he can directly find the original creator through the blockchain proof. Capture's potential is not only through the election, but also in a lot of use cases. For example, we've collaborated with the Web3-driven news media that every news, every videos they created or curated on their website can see the blockchain proof for the origin. And we also participate in an NGO project called Mon IC World for collecting the children's drawing made during the Ukraine war. This can help to preserve the important historical event. We also collaborating with Starling Labs, Reuters, and Rolling Stone to collecting the war crime evidence. Make sure that each important evidence is stored on-chain and verifiable and can traceable. Then Capture has AI verification engine that can do the matches and searches, even if the content has been altered, for example, cropped. We have the AI engine to map each other, so map the sources, so allow us to verify the content in a reliable way. The changes are happening now, but we need to react very fast. A lot of big admins are taking the solution with the provenance in this year, include not only for the off-chain solution, but also for the on-chain solution. But Numbers, we have been doing this since 2019, and we are the first blockchain designed for digital content verification. Our aim is to creating the future standard for the digital media. So either you are a creator, journalist, or maybe you are just like a builder. So I suggest you can start trying the Capture today. So here's like the QR code that can provide a 3-month subscription for free. So try the Capture today, and let's build the world that the digital trust is a certain answer, but not a guess. Thank you.
Everything that is going on in the world today, that was an incredibly timely presentation. Thank you so much, Sherry. Hi, I'm Leah Callum-Butler. I'm a CoinDesk opinion columnist, and I am very glad to be bringing you this session today from the main stage at FIL Bangkok on CoinDesk Livestream. And up next, we're going to be looking at a powerful new bridge between ecosystems. So Ted Liao from Glitter Protocol joins us to show how connecting Ethereum's versatile ecosystem with Filecoin's robust infrastructure can unlock transformative potential across industries, everything from AI to media to healthcare and scientific research. So with that, let's give Ted a warm welcome.
Hey guys, I'm Ted from Glitter Protocol. Today I'll be introducing how this Glitter Protocol using CCIP read to unite Ethereum and Filecoin to unlock the potential of non-financial applications in the Web3 world. Right now there are lots of different kind of DeFi's happening on Ethereum, and but actually, like because of the smart contract design and the blockchain itself, like there are not so many non-financial applications happening in the Web3 world, especially in the Ethereum ecosystem. Like the storage on Ethereum is so high and the gas fee is so high, which limited the possibility for non-financial applications happening on the Ethereum ecosystem. And let's take a look at Filecoin. Filecoin is a highly decentralized storage network. And we have lots of miners, we have lots of storage, and Filecoin storage is very, very cheap and much cheaper than AWS. And it helps us to handling large-scale data. And but right now, developers does not have a really good tools from other ecosystems. Developers does not have a really good tools to get access to data and manage data on Filecoin. And then we find this CCIP read EIP being proposed by ENS founder Nick Johnson. It helps using this standard, we are able to from Ethereum contract, we'll be able to directly access to the data being stored on Filecoin and read through the Ethereum contract, directly get access to the Filecoin storage, which unlock lots of possibility for different kind of non-financial applications. Like AI agents can use this Filecoin storage to build their memories. Like we can have news network, we can have recommendation engines right on Ethereum network using our CCIP gateway. This kind of there are different kind of potentials. Hopefully, there are lots of different kind of like non-financial applications will be happening on this ecosystem. Right now, we have 2 demo apps coming right now. Both of these are already online. The first one is a VPN trading platform called VPN Swap. Like the VPN profiles are being stored on Filecoin, but people are purchasing all these VPN profiles on Ethereum. And when people are doing these transactions on Ethereum, they will directly get access to the VPN profiles being stored on Filecoin. And daily fee is another example, like people are getting access to a huge news data sets being stored on Filecoin, but actually the entire news contract are being deployed on Ethereum. And please feel free to try it out. Both of these demos are like currently online and open sourced. Our goal is to help more developers to build up non-financial applications and data-intensive applications in the Web3 world. And thank you. Please follow our Twitter, and that's it. Thank you.
For sharing a little bit more about Glitter Protocol. That was fantastic. All right, our next spotlight dives into some very cool tech, on-chain data lakes. Stefan Vivait from Akave is going to join us to explain how decentralized infrastructure is bringing big data analysis to scale with Filecoin's storage network. unlocking new potential for data-intensive industries and decentralized AI. Over to you, Stefan.
All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Stefan, CEO of Akave. We are in Filecoin L2, enabling programmable data for DePIN and AI. How many of you today are storing data in the cloud? Raise your hand. Yeah, pretty much everyone. Yet we are at a crypto conference talking about decentralization. What is happening today? So what we're seeing in the last couple of months, and definitely this year, is a increased interest in data monetization. So data monetization is, in my opinion, really driving not just the adoption and growth of data, but in general, more high-value data sets that are being created by DePIN. If you look at DePIN as a whole, as a market itself, is going to be a $3.5 trillion market by 2028. Second, we see a ton more data sets being generated by Gen AI. So AI and LLMs are generating brand new data sets and content. And what's interesting to see as well is that a lot more Web2 businesses are also looking at re-innovating their customer base by providing new services where the content creator economy is really taking off, meaning users that are currently part of a platform could contribute in delivering new content that could be sold to other users in the data monetization market. So data monetization requires new architectures. It's not easy to do. Users today are looking for programmability. Not every single data set is the same. Not every data set is valued the same way. Today, we're seeing a ton more LLMs being created, and it's a lot easier to sell a highly curated, trained LLMs than providing your own data sets and sharing those data sets. So we're seeing more users and businesses looking at new ways of monetizing their data sets through these LLMs, and they're looking for programmability. They're looking for the data to be stored local, or what we would call availability, so locality. Some of them want it to be stored in a certain region, look at GDPR in Europe. Others want it to be very close to the GPUs that they're just purchased to really optimize and do fine-tuning on their LLMs. So region, locality, availability is super important. And then third is traceability. So what we're seeing is a lot more users are struggling today with existing cloud infrastructure that is using central databases to track and then reward those that have contributed to creating the content in an accurate and transparent way. So traceability is very important, definitely as you're growing and scaling out your community. And more importantly is also demonstrating the verifiability. Proof of ownership, guaranteeing that the data that you've created is still the same data and actually is legit, is immutably stored, is validated on a regular basis. Those are all key requirements that we're seeing from many customers that we've been talking to in the Akave ecosystem. And more importantly, when you're looking at all of this, what users are looking for or businesses are looking for is the ability to manage these large data sets, but also small data sets as one big repository, what we call a data lake. A data lake is a very known concept in Web 2, but what's different is that these primitives actually require a full new technology, which we all know very well, which is blockchain enabled, which gives us the opportunity to create on-chain data lakes. And so when we talk to a lot of users, they love the concept of blockchain-powered storage. They love the concept of crypto when it comes to the features it provides, but it's super hard to use. A lot of customers today and builders, they're still building on Web 2 infrastructure. All of you showed your hands, right? It's great that we're building these new applications that are blockchain enabled, minting NFTs, minting new tokens, incentivizing awesome communities. But in the end, like when it comes to storing data, when it comes to utilizing compute, it's really hard to use. So users want simple bridges. And this is where Akave comes in. What we're doing today is we are enabling customers to simply move their data sets from existing clouds into decentralized storage and take advantage of all the primitives that come with blockchain. First, we provide an S3 compatible API, and that allows users to take their existing Web 2 applications and point it to Akave, bring their data sets on chain, save up to 80% cost savings thanks to decentralized storage, and take advantage of the cryptographic proofs to make their data programmable. And what can you do with programmability? You can set your own price. You can define how much it costs for anyone in this ecosystem to retrieve your data sets, so it helps you monetize your data sets. And then, of course, you can replicate, protect, and distribute your data in the way that you would like to organize it. Here's an example of DePIN for a DePIN architecture, where an on-chain data lake can be deployed in a hub closer to the Filecoin storage providers, meaning a Kave will enable users and current storage providers to manage data sets on the storage provider systems as a hot storage layer, and it can also be deployed in the DePIN devices for those DePIN networks that are looking for end-to-end data provenance from the device all the way to the core data center. Because the closer you are to the creation of the content, the more accurate and the better you can transparently reward back those content creators without any dispute. So today, users can not only store data on a Kave, but we also support subnets. Why is that important? It's important because when you're talking to enterprise customers, they want certain security attributes, meaning they want to run some of these storage nodes in their own data centers. And for us, with Kave, we support multiple subnets. One subnet could be very customized for an enterprise. Second one could be optimized for a DePIN network, or it could be optimized for a specific community. And so the benefits here is that with this ability, we can enable more L3s, and we can customize it to what those users really want, and optimize it not just for performance and cost, but also for security. Now, if you look at the market, how big is the market? Now, the object storage market on its own is already a $134 billion market this year alone. And I'm talking just about the nearline and archive storage. This does not include all the new data sets that are being created by DePIN and AI use cases. This is just the market that exists today in Web 2 that we can go after. So again, the market is huge, the opportunity is big, and it now is actually a good, this year specifically, is a really good opportunity for us to go after this market, because more and more enterprises, more and more DePIN networks are coming to life and are understanding the benefits and the importance of a verifiable storage stack. And it's our belief that in the future, all transactions will happen on chain, and all data transactions will happen on chain. And this is what we are trying to enable here with Kave. Now, what is our biggest announcement of today? Two announcements. One, we have raised $3.45 million from major investors, Protocol Labs, Blockchain, Lightshift, and Blockchain Builders Fund, which is awesome. Thank you. Second, we're also now announcing our Yuka testnet here at ETH Global. So if you're a builder, if you're an enterprise, you want to dabble into decentralized storage, you want to play around, come check us out. Scan the code. There are multiple prizes to be won, and not only that, we would like your feedback. We want to know what your requirements are, what you want to do with your applications, which applications you would like to point to the Kave network, and help us with our design and grow the community. Last but not least, if you want to know more, you want to go deeper into our stack, get to know us, please join us at a workshop on Thursday, the 14th of November here in Bangkok, for those who are here. If not, please connect with us on our website, on Discord, and yeah, looking forward to meeting you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefan. All right, so next up, we're going to be joined by Protocol Labs Engineering and Research Lead and now CEO of FIL, Molly McKinlay, as she unpacks the network's game-changing technical developments for 2024. And after Molly presents her retro in the last 12 months, I'm going to jump back up here and we're going to have a chat about what's next for Filecoin. So over to you, Molly, for your retro in the last 12 months.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Bangkok. I'm super excited to count down some of my favorite improvements to Filecoin over the past year and give you a quick preview of some of the goals and metrics that we are aligning on as a community to focus on in 2025. And then super excited to chat a little bit and even answer some questions about all of the great discussions we've been having over the past couple of days here in Bangkok with the FIL Dev Summit as we start aligning our roadmaps for next year. So as a reminder, many of you here already know, but Filecoin is a crypto-powered storage network designed to decentralize, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information and create that for the world. We're following the Filecoin master plan. First, we built the world's largest decentralized storage network. Then we worked to onboard and safeguard humanity's data. We're in the midst of that right now and scaling that out for the world. And then we are upgrading Filecoin to bring even richer components and services that can enable compute and large web-scale applications on top of decentralized storage. So to count down what I think are the three major accomplishment domains that Filecoin worked on in 2024, the first is focusing on launching new Filecoin L2s and on-ramps to scale useful storage and make storage services more accessible to many different types of users. Next was growing Filecoin adoption services and exports more broadly. And then third was scaling the Filecoin economy, bringing new components of DeFi, paid demand into the Filecoin economy as well. So starting with that first one, the Filecoin virtual machine has now been live on the Filecoin network for going on 2 years now. And this added programmability on top of all of the baseline components in Filecoin. And what that's allowed us to do is bring many different types of applications into Filecoin, launching things like perpetual storage, compute networks, retrieval markets and retrieval checking, DeFi loan markets. And now what that's unlocked for the Filecoin economy is layer 2 networks that are customizing and improving Filecoin to extend to different user groups and make the baseline Filecoin L1 storage primitives even more accessible and useful for different kinds of groups. So each of these are building on top of the Interplanetary Consensus System, or IPC. Kind of funky slide here, came out weird. But this enables many different flexible network configurations to optimize for different use cases, to scale horizontally, and to even customize for things like geographic regions. And we're seeing a number of these new exciting networks harness this technology to then deliver new L2s building on top of Filecoin's L1 that make that storage components more accessible. So we have groups like Storacha, which is introducing their super hot network that is really useful developer-focused Filecoin APIs, already used by many groups like Fleek, NFT storage, things that are focused on social gaming, NFTs, and much, much more. But if you want the easiest way to get started storing your data on Filecoin, this is the on-ramp and L2 for you, and there have some exciting announcements, I think, right after this to share even more. We also just heard from Akave, who is creating the first L2 storage chain focused on data lakes and optimizing Filecoin storage for things like AI, compute, and Web 2 object storage through things like S3 APIs. And so really customizing and harnessing those Filecoin L1 components and making them highly useful and tuned for that storage market. Last, we have Basin, which is doing a ton of work to add on things like S3 buckets and the configuration that's needed for large-scale DePIN networks to progressively store their data into Filecoin as you have cars generating maps around the world, or you have WeatherXM generating localized weather data, and storing all of that data on Filecoin and using this large-scale decentralized storage network for these large-scale decentralized infrastructure networks. There's also some really, really interesting work that Triton and Decent and others have been doing to bring chain data onto Filecoin, with Solana being kind of the first large-scale case study, bringing all of their archival ledger data onto the Filecoin network, and now working to start upgrading that to power things like RPCs and indexers. And so they're not just making the archive of Solana more resilient and easier to access, they're starting to build new Web3 native infrastructure tools on top of that chain data. And I think it's a really exciting path forward, and we need better on-ramps to make sure that all Web3 chains can be doing that on Filecoin as well. Next, we talk about growing Filecoin's adoption, services, and exports. So you might have seen this diagram if you were at the Filecoin Dev Summit over the last couple of days, how we have storage clients using configured, optimized storage on-ramps to then work directly with storage providers, index their data, and then retrieve it back out. And we've been working on upgrading this system over the past year to go through this storage and retrieval lifecycle. A lot of improvements have happened on the storage side. We now have we are testing F3 in the network, which is enabling much faster interop with the Filecoin network, both for things like cross-chain storage systems, but also for things like liquidity or paying across multiple different chains, or for faster bridging, so that we can have much faster interop for networks like Solana that might want to be storing their data on Filecoin in real time. We made a number of improvements in NV23, which was the waffle upgrade that launched in Brussels earlier this year, focused on improving the OpEx costs of storage providers and making it a more flexible system to join the Filecoin network. You don't have to both be doing a long-term storage system and be doing all of the compute-heavy storage processing. You can differentiate those into different networks. And the Ramo Web3 Mine team has been doing a lot with this new network feature in order to make it much, much cheaper to run a Filecoin storage provider node and much more flexible to join the network. We also have big improvements that the Curio team and Venus team have integrated SupraSeal, which is a much, much more cost-efficient set of sealing improvements for adding data on Filecoin, and that makes being a storage provider way more efficient and creates a much faster onboarding pathway, so data ends up on the Filecoin network faster. I mentioned these really exciting new Web3 data onboarding ramps that are targeting different user groups within the Web3 community to make sure that both object-level storage on Filecoin is easy, along with larger scale DePIN data where you might be storing terabytes of weather data. There's also a really new getting started guide and smart contract template specifically for cross-chain storage deals that the FIL builders team is helping onboard many, many builders to creating much more flexible cross-chain deals, which means that you can be a smart contract in Optimism, in Solana, in Ethereum, wherever you're otherwise doing your application, you can then be bringing your storage to Filecoin and fetching your data back from Filecoin. And I know we saw some stuff from the Glitter team specifically about using the CCIP read APIs to grab data that was stored in Filecoin and rehydrate smart contracts. And I think that's a really, really exciting opportunity for builders to take advantage of right now. More on the retrieval side, retrieval has gone from 0 to 60 in the last year. We've seen over 10x improvement in retrievability of data on Filecoin. We are now retrieval checking and auditing all data that is stored through the Filecoin Plus verified data system. We have over 30 storage providers with a 90+% retrieval success rate, which is awesome. And we have globally as a network a 12.5 retrieval success rate, which is 10x better than when we started measuring this in January, February of this year. We're also now using that as part of evaluating the quality of data that's stored on Filecoin and deciding what data we want to reward as a network for bringing useful clients and services into the Filecoin ecosystem. We're also, in the next week, after the Filecoin network upgrade next Wednesday, going to be launching the proof of data possession smart contract onto Filecoin mainnet. It's already up on CalibrationNet today. And this is a new hot storage proof that is going to be live on Filecoin L1 for every on-ramp application L2 to make use of, so that you can have both a cold archival copy, or 5 cold archival copies, and you can make sure that you have a hot copy that is accessible for any sort of retrieval or real-time access that you want to do within the network. And so that can layer along with the proof of replication that already exists on Filecoin to offer much more flexible service tiers. A couple of things that, just to preview for you, are launching over the next couple of quarters within this domain. I mentioned bringing PDP to mainnet, which is going out next week or in the next couple of weeks after NV24. We also have a lot of work happening for on-chain paid storage deals. And so we're going to be working on client storage payments contracts that can work with PDP, that can probably work with POREP as well, and that can enable a much more flexible structure for clients to pay for the storage that they're making on Filecoin. Also, some very exciting updates that are happening later in the live stream, talking about stablecoins. This is going to be a big breakthrough both for clients and for the Filecoin ecosystem as a whole. We have not one, but two Filecoin-backed stablecoins, think DAI, backed by ETH in the Ethereum ecosystem, but backed by Filecoin, that are going to be equipping storage providers, clients, and the whole ecosystem of stakeholders with a more predictable way to pay and price storage 1, 2, 3, 10 years in the future, an easier way for storage providers to think about the revenue they're bringing in from their clients, and also fuel and fund and get loans for their CapEx and OpEx needs within the network while still staying highly invested in the Filecoin economy. So that's a really exciting breakthrough for us as a community and something that I imagine many teams will be taking much more advantage of over the next couple quarters. We also have been doing a lot of work around defining the different Filecoin storage tiers that need to exist for meeting different client needs and enforcing those. And so we have had some deep dive conversations about that at FDS, and we have a early prototype that we want to be building out over the next couple of quarters for how we're going to be bringing each of the SLIs that clients care about on chain, being able to pay for them directly, monitor and enforce them with real-time metrics updates on L1, and then make sure that the client quality of service is being met. So we're going to be upgrading things around how we track storage deals in the Filecoin network and how we collect this data to ensure that when you as a client can specify everything you care about to Filecoin, and Filecoin make sure it gets done, and you don't have to pay attention to, hey, what is my storage provider retrievability score these days? There's also going to be some smoothing of that retrieval lifecycle and our monitoring tools around it, making sure that Spark v2 is able to very clearly measure all of the client retrievability needs and enforce that that's getting done well, and general smoothing of that storage and retrieval lifecycle. We have a couple of pain points we're seeing clients hit often right now that's standing in the way of them being able to robustly pay for and trust the data that they're storing. We want to make sure that those pain points go away, and on-ramps have to do a little bit less deep customization and monitoring of the system because they can rely on it to just work. Last but not least, a lot of these improvements we are kind of fitting into the overall header that we're calling Filecoin Web Services, which is this evolution of the Filecoin L1 capabilities into a much more capable market that's selling multiple different services within the Filecoin economy and serving the needs of a broader set of clients who want not just archival storage, but hot storage, retrieval, compute, and many other types of services, all sold and denominated in the Filecoin economy. And so that's a really exciting vision that we're pushing forward to in 2025. Last but not least, we're also have been doing a lot of work over 2024 on scaling the Filecoin economy. As a reminder, this is one of the maps we use for thinking about the Filecoin economy, the different value and services that we are exporting, which is storage, but also things like block space and on-ramps and things like that. We have imports where we have storage providers paying for their OpEx and utilizing that kind of like other economies and paying FIL for that. And then we have a number of internal businesses where we are buying and selling within the Filecoin economy, and then there are fees associated with that that grow and fuel the kind of core internal revenue of that economy. And so we've made a number of improvements to this over the past year. We have significantly decreased network-wide OpEx through a number of cost improvements for storage providers. It is now way cheaper to run a storage provider in the Filecoin economy, thanks to a number of the upgrades from DDO to SuperSeal, NIPOREP, Snap Deals, the improvements that Curio and Ramo and others have been making in the economy. It's now actually possible to run a Filecoin storage provider node through Ramo on a MacBook Pro. So you have no reason to not be offering up your extra storage services to the Filecoin economy today. We've also started onboarding paying users as Filecoin storage clients. We have shipped a number of improvements and built out client teams that are focused on finding and converting existing clients of other, maybe Web 2 economies, to come into the Filecoin ecosystem and pay for storage here, which brings an additional revenue flow into storage providers. And one of the big components of that we heard from all clients is they care about retrieving their data and setting their retrieval tier correctly. And so we've made a significant improvement, as I mentioned, on all of these retrieval checking metrics and retrieval incentives to make sure those client needs are being met there. And that continues to be a big area of focus for us in 2025. Last but not least, there's been a huge growth in DeFi businesses and Filecoin. We now have DEXs live. There's been a crazy new adoption of folks that are using SushiSwap, Uniswap, all of the other cross-chain bridging. Axelar is like, Filecoin and Axelar are off the charts in the past 2 months. It's been really awesome to see this whole DeFi cross-chain bridging story really evolving and increasing for Filecoin. And I think one of the things I'm most excited about that's coming in the next couple months is landing fast finality and integrations so that those groups have much faster user experience for moving coins and data across networks, and you can add much more DeFi liquidity and much lower costs in waiting for the network to update to the latest state. I mentioned stablecoins. I think this is going to be a really exciting opportunity, and my ask for all of you is to help with testing over the next couple of months. I think at least USDFC is about to be live on CalibrationNet, and we'd really like to ask the community to help stress test, because we, many groups, myself on the FIL side and others elsewhere, want to take advantage of these new protocols, but we want to make sure that they are stress tested and ensured to be useful. And so I think this is an opportunity for all of us to evaluate and make sure that they are working well. This solves a really useful challenge within the Filecoin economy, making sure that as we are utilizing our Filecoin reserves, that we are able to do so in a way that's value aligned with the Filecoin network and ecosystem. So please join me in spending a lot of time on CalibrationNet, making sure that this is functional before groups bring these onto mainnet. One of the other things that I think has been a really useful evolution for the Filecoin economy is the new launch of RetroPGF, which happened, I think the first one started in April of this year, and the second one is underway right now. Badge holders are technically allowed to be voting on the 125 or 150 plus submissions. And this has been a really useful evolution for the Filecoin economy to have the community allocating resources towards the projects that are making the most impact and creating the most value in this world. So very excited. If you're a badge holder, please go vote. If you are not a badge holder, please get involved in public goods funding and support. There are many public goods teams. Over 10 new public goods teams came to the Filecoin network in 2024. Philos is one of them, and they can also use your support, your feedback on how they can be creating the most value in the Filecoin ecosystem. And a big thank you to all of these teams for really stepping up and taking ownership of really important domains across the Filecoin network, from Curio, that's focused on the starboard provider stack, to Phil Ponto, that's focused on builder ecosystem and infra and interop with different chains, to Starboard, that's focused on metrics, ANSA, that's focused on network research and data and helping make Filecoin understandable to a much wider community. There's a lot of work that these teams do to support and build out public goods, and so a big thank you to all of them that are making Filecoin better. You can support them as well. Please help contribute to Filecoin public goods. You can do that by designing and building public goods yourself, directing funding within this ecosystem, growing the Filecoin economy that benefits all of them, or funding public goods directly. I'm sure any of these team leads would be happy to talk to you if you have resources to contribute back to the public goods you depend on in Filecoin. All right, now to very, very briefly look forward to 2025, and then we can talk about it more as well. As we celebrate the 4th birthday of Filecoin and go into the 5th year of Filecoin mainnet, I have 3 things that I think we as a community should be focusing on and should be measuring to help drive our focus and our improvement plan for 2025. The first one of those is pretty obvious. We should be focusing on growing the number of clients of Filecoin, and specifically those who are rapidly happy using Filecoin and would be very disappointed if you took Filecoin away from them. And so this is kind of our North Star metric of we are solving a problem for these users. They can't get this anywhere else, and it's useful and solving their pain points well. And I think we have a couple of these right now. We have many clients of Filecoin. We have a couple who would be very disappointed if we took it away. I'd like us to have a significant number of these by the end of 2025 who are using Filecoin and are very, very happy. Next is driving revenue from paid storage deals. We've seen this kind of rising as a focus area for Filecoin, but especially with the launch of stablecoins, with the launch of more services that you can pay for on L1, things like POREP, PDP, Spark retrieval checking, and more. I think this is going to be a big focus for next year, is making sure clients are utilizing those services and are paying for it on-chain on L1. And last but not least, growing the in-network activity in the Filecoin economy. This stablecoins help us bring more of that activity within the economy. Things like SP loan programs can help them scale out and have their OPEX more denominated, say, in stablecoins, and having network fees that align that revenue from paid storage deals with growth of the Filecoin economy itself. And so I think that's our third KPI to be tracking for the network overall. And I think if we achieve these three things, we will be incredibly successful in 2025. We will have happy users that are ready to go and bring their friends and their colleagues onto the Filecoin network. We will have revenue that we are earning from these folks that storage providers and the network as a whole can reinvest in growth. And we will be tying that directly to the growth of the Filecoin economy and the value that we are accruing as a network and ecosystem. We will be exporting more value to the world than we have to import, and that will put us in a place where our economy can grow and scale, and we can achieve a lot as a group. So those are my goals and the KPIs I suggest we focus on for 2025. And with that, let's work on making Filecoin better together. I'd love to chat more about the work that we're doing here, and excited to chat with all of you. So feel free to message me on Twitter, Farcaster, or go check out what we're doing on the FIL Oz team in the QR code in the corner. Thank you all.
Molly, wow, that was an incredible retro. So much progress, so many achievements in one short year. I thought what we could do now is perhaps look to the future. So I've got a few questions for you, if you don't mind. I guess for anyone who's just tuning in to the CoinDesk live stream right now, maybe you could just give us a little bit of a recap on some of the biggest improvements to Filecoin in 2024, but also the next upgrades, NV24 and NV25. What is that going to unlock for the network?
Yeah, so looking back, I think the move to having much more retrieval checking and retrievability of data on Filecoin was a big focus, priority, and necessity for the clients that are storing their data with Filecoin today. I think the improvements in OPEX are really critical for our storage provider community to make offering, we're raising the bar here. We are asking the whole Filecoin community to level up the quality of service that we are providing to clients so that it is more and more a dependent part of their storage stack, and they're able to pay for that and take revenue that they might spend previously storing their data on AWS and instead spend that money on storing their data with Filecoin storage providers. And that means leveling up the quality of service that we as a network provide. And I think that theme and mission and the many building blocks within it, helping storage providers do that cost efficiently, helping the network monitor and measure that is happening well. Those are really big changes. Looking forward to NV24 and NV25, fast finality is the thing I'm most excited about. It both has big impacts on the cost effectiveness of running on-ramps, of running storage provider software. It makes it less costly to hold data and wait for finality. It's a much better user experience of both being a storage provider and a client within Filecoin. And it's going to make interoperating Filecoin into all of these other economies and using that Web3 storage service across the entire Web3 ecosystem of different chains way more effective and way easier to use. And so that's what I'm most excited for. That's part of the NV24 and NV25 upgrades. So I think that's going to be a big step forward for our entire community. There's also, a lot of smaller kind of quality of service things. There's been a big focus on making sure that indexers and RPCs and builders can bring their applications into the Filecoin economy effectively, and have to rely less on making lots of customized tweaks. So really improving that EVM compatibility within Filecoin. And so there's a couple of features that are launching in NV24 that are focused on that as well. And so that general domain is what I'm most excited about.
I'd love to double click on something you just said there. So in the Waffle upgrade in July, fast finality, or F3, came to beta test on the network. But what does fast finality do to actually benefit Filecoin's users, clients, and other stakeholders on the network?
Yeah, so fast finality, for those that aren't as familiar with F3, Filecoin as a proof of useful work chain is also a heaviest chain protocol, which means that as folks are mining the blockchain over time, they're evaluating which history set of previous blocks do they mine on top of, based on kind of a heaviness metric. But that meant that might change over time. And so Filecoin historically has had a very long finality wait period before you can rely that your version of history might not change out from underneath you. So that was previously 900 epochs, which is like 7.5 hours that you'd have to wait before you could ensure 100% guaranteed by consensus of the chain these blocks and this history will not change. And that's really a long time, and most people don't want to wait that long to, say, get a confirmation on their exchange that their transaction or deposit has gone through. And so fast finality updates that. It adds a new kind of hybrid finality protocol on top, where we can get a number of storage providers to confirm on kind of an epoch by epoch level, this is final. We have agreed on the heaviest chain. We have agreed on what is final as an ecosystem. And so you can have much faster confirmation times for bridges and exchanges, which helps all builders and clients and users of applications have a much faster feedback loop of like what Filecoin's version of events is. It also helps groups like storage providers who are previously having to wait for their confirmations to kind of become finalized on chain and hold data around for a period of time to make sure that that's been confirmed across a number of different epochs. And so now, with fast finality, as soon as we get that fast finality confirmation, we can start on offloading data that's not important anymore or taking the next action. So it also means that their sealing and data onboarding pipelines can go much faster. And it's of course also very useful for anyone who's bridging liquidity across different chains. Many of these bridges, if you want a trustless bridge, you need fast finality to be interoperating back and forth between these networks. So now you can have bridges that are watching the finality gadget and running like an F3 kind of finality watcher, way lighter weight than running an entire storage provider or mining node within the Filecoin economy. So whole new ways of doing bridging in Filecoin can now be possible, interoperating with other networks and bridging liquidity into the Filecoin ecosystem.
That's massive. Congratulations. That's got to do so much for driving forward adoption. That's huge.
The credit goes to the many, many engineers and researchers. This has been in the works for a long time. It's taken a ton of energy and a ton of testing. We have been testing this thoroughly in mainnet since the summer, and we are going to continue testing over the next couple of months to make sure that we don't make any changes to that might harm the Filecoin network or create instability. And so that's taken a lot of work, and really the credit goes to many, many engineers who are not here today.
Well done, guys. I think speed is really a holy grail in blockchain, so well done. We might have time for just one more quick question. One of the things that I thought was super interesting about your presentation was all these new on-ramps and L2s that are launching in the ecosystem. So going forward in the next year, what does that actually mean for the network, and what sort of new things do you think users will be able to look forward to?
Yeah, for us, and maybe a little bit differently than how Ethereum L2s and L1 work together, L2s are really helping customize and optimize the L1 primitives in Filecoin for specific user groups and add on their own developer APIs or additional requirements to meet that particular user group. So we see many of the L2s that are launching over the next couple of days as incredible leaps forward for the service capability of what Filecoin can offer to many different client networks, whether that's optimizing for DePIN networks or optimizing for social gaming applications or optimizing for larger scale compute and AI use cases. And so I'm very, very excited for the L2s and on-ramps that are tuning those L1 primitives to make it more useful. And I think what that means for the entire Web3 and Web 2 clients on Filecoin is that's a new tuned set of Filecoin interfaces that can meet your needs much more simply and easily to use. And that means for storage providers is when you go and you meet the storage requirements of those L2 networks, so you bring in, you're doing not just POREP, but you're also storing your PDP hot copy, there might be additional revenue sources associated with those L2 networks to reward you for taking that next step. So it lets us tune and optimize the service capabilities within the Filecoin ecosystem and bring additional value flows to the storage providers who step up. And it helps us move a lot faster than waiting for each one of those capabilities and tuned parameters to land on L1 through our consensus and governance process. So I think we're going to see much faster iteration. We're going to see much faster shipping of new features and onboarding of new clients, because we've got 3 to 4 different on-ramps that are going to each be targeting a whole new set of users. And then I think we'll be focused on the L1 side on making sure each of those on-ramps is equipped to, with like the primitives and value from L1 to focus on doing what they do really well and be able to rely on L1 to take care of the rest.
Amazing. I think I mentioned earlier that I've been following Filecoin from the beginning, so seeing this whole vision come to fruition is just fantastic. And congratulations on everything you've done. I think Molly mentioned that you can hit her up on Twitter if you want to know more. But that's all we've got time for.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Molly. All right, next. We can go straight in. All right, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Molly. I really enjoyed that presentation. All right, the next one that we've got up, I have to say, I was intrigued by this one. The title of this presentation is Some Like It Hot, and it's an L2 spotlight from StoreArcher. So they're going to dive, we've actually got 2 from the StoreArcher team, CPO Alexander Kinsler and CTO Hannah Howard, and they're going to dive into the practical side of data storage. So they're going to tag team this next session, and it's all about enhancing the capabilities of the Filecoin network with hot object storage, making it easier for all kinds of data to find a home on Filecoin. So over to the StoreArcher team. Woo!
Hello, Bangkok. Can you hear me well? Hey, how's it going? How's the mood? Woo woo. I want to make it a little bit hotter today. So my name is Alex. I'm CPO at StoreArcher. And today I will introduce StoreArcher to you, and actually our really hot, fiery chicken, our mascot. The title that we chose today for our presentation is Some Like It Hot, as a reference to a movie with Marilyn Monroe from the 50s. The reason being is that this movie actually broke with its conventions. It broke with the motion picture conduction code and did something differently. So is StoreArcher going to do something differently as well? Let's find out. Well, a first provocative question here. So when I walk around Web3 conferences, I typically ask people if they use decentralized storage. And very often the answer is actually no. Why is that? Well, they typically say, I don't use it because it is slow or it is difficult to use for the ones who have tried it. But most of the people have not even tried it. They just say, well, you know, I'm familiar with S3, I know the interfaces, I get free credits, it's reliable, it's available, and I'm just going to use it. Unfortunately, decentralized storage is often an afterthought. So I want us to change that together. I want actually decentralized storage to be at the forefront when you actually start building applications in the Web3 space. And I want us to provide a faster and more user-friendly storage to the app developers and networks. And therefore, we're introducing Storacha, hot decentralized data at scale. Check out our X account with the QR code below. So what is Storacha? Storacha is an object storage built with Filecoin that provides retrievals at a low latency. It also extends Filecoin with a hot storage layer. So for your reference, hot storage on the Scoville scale that you see means that you can retrieve data with a latency of 150 to 500 milliseconds. So it's below a CDN, basically, but it's faster than many other solutions that we have out there at the moment. So then you wonder, well, how does Storacha now fit within the Filecoin network? First of all, it leverages Filecoin, leverages some of the technologies that Filecoin is using, which are amazing. So it's based on content addressability, ensuring verifiability, and it also leverages Filecoin for its horizontal scalability and also durability so that data does not get lost. And Filecoin is amazing at that with its Power App. Storacha is also a data onboarding solution, actually currently the largest small data onboarder onto Filecoin. But at the same time, Storacha also extends Filecoin. It will provide an incentivization layer for hot storage and retrieval, and will also add additional features like access control and privacy, and will eventually launch as an L2 network. So what can you do with Storacha today already? I actually just had a chat with a game distribution company out there, right? So when they were asking me, well, we're looking for decentralized storage to actually distribute all these peer-to-peer games. Well, Storacha is built for that. So if you want to build a blockbuster game, or if you're actually a gaming distribution network, you might want to store these game binaries, but you also might want to distribute them and leverage deduplication as part of the content addressing technology here. So then Storacha is the right solution for you. If you're a DePIN node provider or DePIN network, and you want to keep your data sovereignty when you collect like a lot of new data sets, and you want to monetize on that, Storacha is the place for you. And then if we look at AI and you have a complex, let's say, agent application, you want agent-to-agent communication and collaboration, we can enable autonomous data access and delegation from one agent to another to complete complex tasks. Well, and we have a big announcement to make today, actually. Storacha is launching its alpha release as we speak this week. Round of applause. So what does it mean? It means that Storacha can run as a network for the first time, leveraging Filecoin storage providers, introducing a new proof system, the proof of data possession, which was built together with the Filecoin ecosystem teams. Big shout out here to the Cura team and Phil Oz, and to Molly, thanks for the support. But we're also releasing access control, leveraging like a new protocol using UCANs. Actually, shout out to Fission, if anyone will watch that later, for developing such great technologies. And we're also enabling large data retrieval. And if we want to do a deep dive on this now, what this alpha network release means, I would like to introduce my amazing co-founder and CTO, Hannah Howard, and she will tell you all more details about this. Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody. Oh, my God. This is so exciting. I've been waiting so long to get to tell you about this network. So, my name is Hannah. I'm the CTO of Storacha. And I'm going to do a little deep dive today on the evolution of Storacha, from its roots as originally a centralized service to the decentralized network we're launching today. So Storacha, the company, is very new, but the team that built Storacha is not new. And we've been building hot storage for IPFS and Filecoin for a very long time, or a very long time in this world. So the very first thing that our team built was NFT storage, the original version of NFT storage, which is still the simplest way to put NFTs onto the internet. Then we took that solution and we generalized it, and we launched Web3.storage, one of the largest services for hot storage on IPFS and Filecoin that's available today. And now we're launching Sriracha. Now, along the way, we've had a North Star. And our North Star as a team is that we prioritize great user experience. Using Web3 shouldn't be a step down in user experience than using Web 2. However, in order to do that, we have sometimes relied on centralized infrastructure when decentralized solutions were not ready. And this creates a contradiction. Oops, I moved that forward. So we as a team, our goal is to put control of the data on the internet back into the hands of regular people. But we can't do that on centralized services. And so now we've reached a crossroads, right? And it's time for us to get off centralized services and have that breakup. AWS, it was never you, it was always us. So how do we do that? This presents a real challenge because we're not willing to give up the good user experience. But at the same time, we need to get to a decentralized infrastructure. That's a challenge, and I'm going to talk to you now about some of the technology we built in order to accomplish this goal. So the way I'm going to do this is I want to talk about exactly what defines a great user experience for hot storage of data on the internet. So the first thing you want is really easy content onboarding. I should be able to say, hey, Sriracha, I've got this data here, and I want to upload it to the network, and Sriracha should just be able to take it and figure out where it should go. In order to accomplish this, we built the Sriracha router and upload service. When I have a file that I want to upload to Sriracha, I don't have to do a lot of thinking. I just tell Sriracha, I want you to store it, it figures it out. But don't worry, we've also built possibly the world's most auditable data network. So when you do need to find out exactly what happened, it's 100% possible in ways you couldn't even do with centralized services. The next thing you're going to need is when you want to get your data back, you have to be able to find data really quickly in a decentralized or distributed network. We call this problem content discovery. And what we've built is the Sriracha indexing service. It is the most advanced and probably fastest way to find data in all of Web3. Now, when I put data into a storage network, I want to know that no one is going to store it or no one is going to access it without my authorization. And so what we need to do, we need protocols that our storage providers can run that enforce these rules and ensure that when I put data into the Sriracha network, that the rules will be followed, right? So we've shipped a piece of software called the Sriracha storage node. And this is this runs in our storage provider's operations really easily. It can run in all kinds of storage operations, including existing Filecoin storage providers. Now we're at the red meat of hot storage. The red meat of hot storage is durability and availability. These are two qualities you've just got to have. So durability is the guarantee that when you put data into Sriracha, it will not be lost, right? Now, this would be really hard for us to do if there was not already a battle-tested L1 blockchain that was built on a proof and a consensus mechanism all targeted towards guaranteeing durability. Fortunately, there is. I'm sure most of you know I'm talking about Filecoin. So this Filecoin's proof of replication consensus system is tailor-made to solve this problem. What about availability? We need to be able to get our data back quickly. So for this, we worked with teams in the Filecoin ecosystem to build a new storage proof tailored for hot storage, so that when you put data into Sriracha, you can be guaranteed that it is always ready to retrieve. We call this, as Alex mentioned, proof of data possession. It is a new hot storage proof for Filecoin. It was built by the FIL and Curio teams, and the first client to integrate it is Sriracha. Now, that's 3 services and 1 entirely new storage proof that we've launched. And the last thing I want to tell you before I demo is that we launched all this in 3 months. Yeah, thank you. Round of applause. Some of the folks who've been working overtime are here in the room. And this is only possible on the Filecoin network because we have such amazing technology and such amazing developers and technologists. Hashtag Filecoin ships. Woo! Okay. Now it's demo time. Now this won't be a live demo. If you want the live demo, you're going to have to come to our big Bangkok event, the Hot Ones and Zeros party in 2 days, here if you're here in Bangkok. So, but let's go ahead and give this a go. Okay. So, I'm told I'm so. All right, woo. Okay, so this is the Sriracha console. And as you can see, I'm logged in, and I'm looking at my spaces. Spaces are sort of like folders on Sriracha. And you can see that I've got the space here that I called My Awesome Town for whatever reason. And we're going to go ahead, and if I hover over it, I'm going to go ahead and click on that in a second, if I get my timing right. And yeah, so you're looking at the sorry, I got my timing. Yeah, so this is what happens when I click on my spaces. It's a list of all the things I've uploaded into the space, and now I'm going to upload something new. Now, I want to say Phil Bangkok rocks. Fortunately, I actually have some Phil Bangkok rocks with me, and I'm going to go ahead and upload those now. So I'm just going to pick them up, drag, and drop, and there you go. You can see it's now uploading, and in just a second, I'm going to actually get, you probably can't read that on the screen, but right there is a hash for my data that tells me that that data, hash to that, and I can retrieve it at that so-called SID. Now I click on it, and you can see it's already retrievable. It's on our gateway right away. I can click on it, and that's coming from Sriracha. So the upload is really simple. Let's dive a little deeper into what's going on here. So I'm going back to my list of uploads. And as I go to my list, I'm going to go ahead, and here's my upload right here that I uploaded. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And you can see I get a bunch of information about this. And the one at the bottom, it's called a shard. Shards are like the little parts of an upload on Sriracha. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that shard. And here is where you see the decentralization. You can see right there, there's a direct download URL. Now, you may not be able to read this, but it is at an address that is not Sriracha.network. That's because it's on a Filecoin storage provider. This is a provider that's run by Magic, one of the members of the Curio team. And you can it is actually available to download there as well. Now, you see there's not, at the bottom, there's some information about proving. And there's nothing there because I just uploaded it. I'm not yet worried about the data being lost. But I also uploaded another one. I did this just yesterday because we just got this done yesterday. So here is my slightly older upload, and I've got a list of 4 shards for this upload. And when I click on it, you can see that I've actually got some proofs for proof of data possession that tell me exactly where my shard is, that it's on the Filecoin, it's on my storage provider, and my storage provider is proving that data is part of an aggregate. And that is Sriracha. Now you might be wondering, when do you get to use this awesome piece of software? Well, the answer is you can start storing right now. Hold on, I'm trying to advance. Right now, you can start storing. We're available. Yes! And if you start storing today, you will transparently be upgraded as we roll out this decentralized network. On the left is a QR code to start storing today, and then on the right is a link to join our Discord and become part of our community. We're very welcoming. We really want you to join. Lastly, you got to follow us on X, because we love a little social media fun. And you can use that QR code right there to follow us. And we're going to have a little prize for everyone who follows us. Very exciting at the end of November. Thank you so, so much, everyone. And see you on Sriracha.
to the Store Archer team, and congratulations on your big news announced here at FIL Bangkok today on CoinDesk Livestream. So next up, we have Masa Kikuchi, who is the founder of Secured Finance, here to introduce USDFC. It's a FIL-backed stablecoin set to add stability and flexibility for both clients and storage providers, enabling new on-chain activity and accelerating valuable data onboarding. So Masa, over to you.
Hello everyone. Hi Filecoin community. I'm founder of Secured Finance. We have been building a peer-to-peer lending market for crypto and supporting Filecoin community for borrowing and lending via our fixed rate market. And now today we're going to make a big announcement that we're going to launch stablecoin. Let me talk about that. So we started as a hackathon protocol, and we received grants in Filecoin, and we received investments from Filecoin, and we've been talking to storage providers and what is the pain point, how to manage, the future cash flow, etc., and all about financial, transaction and hedging strategy, etc. But I realized that there's a off-chain transaction happening all over there. So when the storage deal happens, the deal is happening on US dollar fiat currency, and this is happening off-chain, and it's not happening on-chain. And think about if we can bring this US dollar denominated transaction happening on Filecoin blockchain, that'll be great because we can capture this growth within the Filecoin ecosystem. That's the basic idea of why we started stablecoin. So yeah, this is a strong growing demand for US dollar denominated transaction happening on Filecoin. And I think this will help manage your, risk of volatility in case of, the price or something. But yeah, I think this will help reduce the concerns about, payments. So by introducing USDFC, we can provide more confidence and make the transaction without any concern. So yeah, stablecoin can bring stability for the storage markets. So USDFC is a stablecoin collateralized by Filecoin. USDFC stands for US dollar for Filecoin community. Or you can just simply say USDF coin, whatever you want. It was seamlessly integrated to the Filecoin network. How USDC works, it is a ERC20 token standard, so we can ensure the broad compatibility with other regular stablecoins like USDT or USDC. And this is collateralized through smart contract on EVM compatible Filecoin virtual machine. This stablecoin could be redeemable and exchangeable via decentralized platforms. So benefits for the Filecoin community. This stablecoin provides stability for storage transactions. It can encourage, the smooth transaction on chain. It's better than fiat transaction. When a banking wire transaction takes time, but if it happens on chain, it can happen instantly. And this allows for Filecoin to put more work on storing data. So if you have large Filecoin holders, you can put more storage deal instead, and then you can mint USDFC and use it as a payment. So in this way, we can increase more confidence in storage deals. So here's a use case of USDFC. It's very simple. First use case is, of course, it is used as a payment method. So this is a stable currency for storage providers and any other services. And this could be used for trading purposes. Because this is the one-to-one peg to US dollar, you can use it as a collateral for DeFi protocol. And also, we Secured Finance providing USDFC lending market, so you can come to our platform and then lend and borrow USDFC and earn fixed rate returns, which is so cool. So here today, we're going to make an announcement that testnet launch is happening today. So yeah, let's welcome Yeah, this is the opportunity for Filecoin community to test out and give us a feedback to improve the quality and ensure the security for the growth. So yeah, all the instructions and how to use is all available on our website already. And security and trust is our top priority. This is, we borrow the traditional, proven to be working as a security measure that is over-collateralization to protect against volatility. And we also have advanced stability pool to prepare for the liquidation events. And we also do regular multiple audits and make sure transparent smart contracts so you can review how it's working and everything is transparent. So the roadmap is we're going to target to launch our mainnet launch Q1 next year. And we are going to expand partnership with other DeFi protocol and also research institutions and all the Filecoin ecosystem. And we ensure cross-chain capabilities to ensure if you receive USDFC, it could be easily converted and bridged to other regular stablecoins like USDC or USDT very easily. Yeah, so to the conclusion, USDFC provides liquidity and stability in the Filecoin ecosystem. And please visit our website, usdfc.secured.finance. And please scan this QR code and join our Discord community and also follow our X account, secured_fi. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Masa. All right, well, as we approach the end of our time with all of our viewers on CoinDesk, I am absolutely delighted to welcome Marta Belcher, President of the Filecoin Foundation, to the stage. Marta and I are going to have a chat about the most exciting developments across the Filecoin ecosystem, her views on emerging tech policy, and how Filecoin Foundation is supporting the network in 2025. So please welcome Marta. There we go. Thank you so much for joining us. So we've seen so many incredible updates about the Filecoin ecosystem today. I was interested to know, what are some of your personal highlights from 2024?
Yeah, it's absolutely great to be here. You know, I have to say, we really kicked off 2024 on such a high note with one of my personal favorite projects, which is that the network that underlies Filecoin, IPFS, is actually called the Interplanetary File System. And a lot of people, I think, for a long time thought that that was sort of metaphorical. But in reality, IPFS actually works much better for networking in space than traditional storage systems. And so we actually kicked off the year after 3 years of building towards this with actually working with Lockheed Martin Space to put IPFS in space, and successfully did a demo mission that actually used and deployed IPFS in space successfully. So that was sort of how we kicked off the year, and that was, I think, just an incredible highlight after years of work on that project.
Wow, that is very impressive. Actually, just on that, you know, the mission of the Filecoin network is to preserve humanity's most important information. So in addition to that, maybe you can give us a bit of a preview on some of the critical data sets that are actually stored on the network.
Yeah, you know, it's really amazing to see how much incredible data that is so important to the world is actually already stored on the Filecoin network. So just to give you some recent examples, the government of Aruba actually recently announced that it's storing its data via the Democracy's Library project on the Filecoin network. So we're really excited to have the entire government of Aruba's data sets on the Filecoin network as of recently. There's also some amazing work happening with that Democracy's Library project, which is a partnership between FF and the Internet Archive, where what we're doing is really putting a lot of important government data sets from around the world onto the Filecoin network to make sure they're stored permanently. Just one example is doing end-of-term crawls. So when you have an administration that turns over, often a lot of the important data, you can imagine, for example, environmental data that's up on a website ends up getting pulled down. And so it's really important to make sure that at the end of terms, you really do a crawl and preserve that data. So that's another example of the type of data that's being stored right now on the Filecoin network. We also have a lot of amazing human rights data sets. So for example, there is data stored on the Filecoin network that is evidence of war crimes in Ukraine that is actually used and has been submitted to the International Criminal Court. And it's really important because not only is that data stored and preserved permanently, but it's also cryptographically verifiable that it hasn't been tampered with. We have also a lot of evidence of press freedom violations being stored on the network through the Freedom of the Press Foundation. Really amazing work happening with Witness and the Guardian Project and all sorts of other human rights organizations that are using the Filecoin network to store those human rights data sets.
Yeah, congratulations. That's very, very impressive in terms of the type of information that's being stored there. I mean, we have heard today that the Filecoin ecosystem is super vibrant in terms of all the different developers and innovators that are working there and contributing. Maybe you could share some more about the standout projects and startups within that ecosystem that are particularly exciting right now.
Yeah, I have to say, I think we're at this moment where there are so many incredible projects that are launching that are making it so much easier to use Filecoin. So for example, just now, Sriracha, right? Having hot storage on the network, so incredible and such an amazing and important use case. We also have projects like Lighthouse, which provide perpetual storage. We have all sorts of really amazing L2s that are launching. And we have, data onboarding tools that are really making it much easier to get data onto the network. So I think we're really at an inflection point with the Filecoin network where it's really becoming a lot easier and more user-friendly thanks to all the amazing teams that are building on the network, a lot of whom are here today actually making important announcements about their really incredible projects.
It does feel like that, an inflection point really in terms of how the ecosystem is building out. So just shifting gears a little bit, you've been extremely active in crypto policy, including testifying in Congress and other legislative bodies all around the world. What are some of the principles that guide you when you're thinking about technology policy?
Yeah, I think when it comes to technology policy, in general, less is more, right? So for the most part, when it comes to technology, you don't necessarily need to regulate a technology per se, right? Like, for example, if you're committing fraud, it doesn't matter what technology you use to commit fraud. Like if you're using the phone or the internet or dollars or, the technology doesn't matter. It's really about the activity. And we already have most laws and regulations that easily apply to new technologies, right? Again, because it's really about the activity. So for the most part, less is more, but there are some areas where it's really important to have clarity, right? For it to be clear. And so those are definitely some of the things that we've been pushing on, particularly in the US, to make sure that it's really clear so that innovators can feel like they can actually build in a particular jurisdiction. So that's really been a huge driver. And I think it's also, I think to say the least, an inflection point for technology policy in cryptocurrency in the US. And I think it's really important that people, that policymakers really get it right in this moment.
Yeah, I love what you said too about technology itself being neutral, and it's really just about how people use it, but how do we make sure that we have policy and regulation that actually recognizes that rather than, I guess, criminalizing the technology itself. Super interesting. So global elections are wrapping up for the year, and I was wondering, if you had your way, what would be some key messages that you could share with policymakers and the public as some of these conversations around crypto legislation start to renew?
So I think the thing that a lot of policymakers get wrong about cryptocurrency is that they really think of it as a financial thing, right? And something that you need to look at as applying financial regulations to. And I think it's really important to understand that cryptocurrency is about so much more than finance, right? The Filecoin network and all of the applications building on top of the Filecoin network really, I think, underscore that this is a technology that actually has the power to do so much more than finance. When you have the ability to program your money, right, to write a program that says something like, you know, for every second of a song, transfer a millionth of a cent to the songwriter, or, you know, check whether someone's storing my files, and if so, transfer some cryptocurrency to them. When you can do that programming, it unlocks all of these use cases where I think we've really only just scratched the surface, that have nothing to do with finance at all, that are really about this fundamental utility. And I think it's really important that we get that message out there, so when people are thinking about cryptocurrency, they realize it's not just about finance.
Yeah, it's funny how far we've come across the timeline in terms of blockchain and everything it can be used for, and people are still really focused on those financial applications. But today has been great to really kind of shine a light on everything that's possible beyond finance. So, look, one of the major themes, talking about beyond finance, of today was AI and how it overlaps with DePIN. So I was wondering, you know, with your technology and civil liberties lawyer hat on, what do you see as the trajectory for AI?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things I think there are a couple things that are really important about AI. So the first thing is, you know, today's internet, of course, is highly, highly centralized. And that's really what the Filecoin network is built to address, right? We sort of live our lives in Web 2 through just a handful of corporations, right? And we have no choice but to trust them with our data. You know, our entire lives really are lived through them, and they're really creating a lot of single points of failure. And so I think in this moment, as AI really is building a lot of momentum, I think we have to ask ourselves, do we want that same centralization in AI, right? As these models become more and more important, do we really want all of that data and all of that important sort of utility to be in the hands of just a few companies? Or do we want to have decentralized alternatives? So I think that's one really important piece of the puzzle. And I think a lot of people are really opening their eyes to the importance of open source and decentralized AI models, which is very important. And I think the second thing that's very important is, you know, data is really the fuel of AI, right? That is the thing that enables AI. And so when it comes to really enabling this absolutely critical, important technology, you have to make sure that data is really available and isn't subject to these kinds of single points of failure that we've seen in the centralized world. So I also think decentralized technologies can play a big role in making sure that we can really enable the power of AI.
Got it. So let's move to your role as president of the Filecoin Foundation. I was just wondering, from your perspective, what do you see as the role of the Filecoin Foundation within the decentralized Filecoin ecosystem?
It's such an amazing ecosystem. There are hundreds of teams and projects building on the network, thousands of developers, thousands of storage providers. It's a really vibrant, decentralized community. For us, we really see our role as being the stewards of the community, of stewarding the open source governance process, and of really helping to grow and empower this amazing decentralized group of people all over in the world who are building and launching and using the technology.
And I guess just to go a little bit deeper on that too, how is the Filecoin Foundation planning to support the ecosystem in 2025? And maybe you could even give us a little peek on the strategic priorities for 2025?
Yeah, absolutely. So we went through a big process this year of making sure we had really solid strategic priorities for the foundation for 2025. So our big theme for the year is making sure that Filecoin works seamlessly and ensuring that we have product market fit. So within that, we have a bunch of strategic priorities that are, what we really see is what we're going to be focusing on in 2025. So the first and most important is that we are waging a war on pain points. So where there are pain points in the Filecoin network, we really want to be addressing those as quickly as possible. And we really want to drive a process as the foundation through which the entire community can build consensus around what the most important pain points are and for us to address, and what the most important actions are for us as a community and as an ecosystem to take in order to make sure that we find product market fit. So that's our first big theme, which is waging a war on pain points. Our second big theme is we really want to shift a culture in our ecosystem from just a launching culture towards more of an iterating culture. We really want to focus on quality and polish and consistency. We also want to really assist storage providers in making sure they are finding profitable business models, through paid storage deals and other means. And of course, we will also be focusing on partnerships, including some phenomenal AI partnerships, many of which have already been announced, but we are looking forward to more of those next year. So we really see this as a moment where we can really do a lot as the Filecoin ecosystem. I mean, even just today, you're seeing these incredible tools launch. And one of the things we also want to really focus on is data onboarding tools, right? Making it very easy to onboard data to the network, and specifically focusing on open source data onboarding tools. So we really see our role as the foundation in sort of getting the ecosystem together, getting the right people in the right room, talking about the right things. This is one of those rooms. And talking about what we as the network should be prioritizing in order to make sure that we meet our biggest theme for the year, which is making Filecoin work seamlessly and finding product market fit.
I guess given the themes of today too, just in amongst those strategic priorities, what's your hot take on AI and DePIN for 2025?
I think there's so much incredible stuff going on in the AI universe right now, particularly as it relates to decentralized AI. I think a really big theme of the last, since really the launch of ChatGPT has been AI has been, I think, very, very, very centralized. And I think we're just now beginning to see a lot of decentralized AI projects pop up. And not only that, but also decentralized compute, right? Not having only the companies that can afford just a massive amount of GPUs being the companies that can actually run AI models, but actually decentralizing compute as well, so you can really put the power of AI into the hands of everyone rather than just a few corporations.
I love that. I think that's something that people have talked about a lot, but we haven't so much seen it in action. So it's really great to see so many projects really focused on bringing that to fruition. Look, as we close out the CoinDesk live stream today, I just got one final question for you. I was interested in terms of looking ahead, what do you think are the most exciting opportunities in the Filecoin network that you're looking forward to seeing come to life?
Well, I have to say, I think even just today, what you're seeing is, on this stage, just on this live stream, what you're seeing is it being easier and easier to use the network, more and more user-friendly, really being able to bring this to the masses in a way that wasn't possible without these really user-friendly tools. So I'm really, really excited about making Filecoin work seamlessly this year, and really increasing the number of people who are using the network.
Love that big focus on improved UX and driving adoption. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Marta. That's been so interesting, and you've given us a lot to look forward to in 2025.
Thanks so much.
All right. That is all we have today. Thank you so much for joining us on the CoinDesk live stream. Today's conversations have sparked some really interesting insights on the future of decentralized tech, and it's left me feeling super excited to see what's coming next for Filecoin. For those of you joining us on the live stream, I'm sorry, the fun is over. But for those of you here IRL in the audience, don't go anywhere, stick around, because we are just about to head into some more amazing sessions. Bye, CoinDesk guys. All right. So